Hey YouTube, this is Dr. Stephanie, and I had to share this video with you. We did a phenomenal East Coast Spartan longevity call this morning, and the testimony made me cry. Do you know that healing is so very possible and it is very easy? And it's not as difficult as you think, no matter what the diagnosis is. So I'm not going to spoil it, but I definitely believe that once you watch this video, you will want to give me a call. East Coast Spartans, you guys are doing a phenomenal job. Let's keep up the good work, sharing the message of longevity and doing it through the power of God. So watch the video, subscribe, and definitely leave a comment below. Thanks.
Okay, again, good morning, everyone, and welcome to our Health and Wellness call. And yes, we're in the process of decreasing human suffering. And one of the things that's going to change our system is that people helping people. People helping people. You know, and people don't realize that, yes, you can help your family with their health. Yes, you can help people with their health. It's a matter of knowing, a matter of education, things you can do to change their diet, things that you can do to supplement their diet, things that you can do to really, really make a difference. So that's why we show up here every week and we have this call. This is why we show up at events. We're educating people, and we're truly on a mission to help decrease human suffering. Now, this morning is no different. As a matter of fact, we have a special guest this morning, but we have our own Dr. Stephanie Reed, who is on the line with us. A little bit of her background. She's actually a naturopathic physician. She has a practice that's called Your Healing Place, and it truly is a healing place because that's what it's really all about. I admire what she's doing. She's doing a fantastic job. She's reaching out, helping people in the community, reaching out to young people alike, and just really making a difference. So without further ado, Dr. Reed, I'm going to turn this call over to you. Are you there?
I'm here. Good morning.
Okay, good morning.
Good morning.
Go ahead. Take it away.
This is such an exciting call, and the reason why the excitement is swelling is because we have this idea that some diseases are worse than others, and we put so much emphasis on them. But the truth is, Dr. Wallach just constantly tells us that any and every disease that leads to death is a mineral and a nutritional deficiency. And so there's a lot of people that got on the call because they saw the text and it said breast cancer. That is a taboo that everybody is so terrified about. But Dr. Wallach also says that that is a lifestyle disease, and that too can be addressed with nutrition, not cured, but we can give the body what it needs, take away what it doesn't, so it can heal on its own. And that's what our testimony is about today. So I have a phenomenal woman on the phone, and I give you a little background. First of all, she is the mother of one of the most extraordinary young women that I've ever met, and her daughter's name is Jaleesa Ray. Jaleesa came to me back in 2010, and she said, can I be your intern? She was a student at Coppin. Jaleesa was my intern, and then she stayed with me all the way up into 2014, and she's still a really good part of my life. So I like to bring her mom on the call, Pat Ray, because one day Jaleesa was in the office and she said, Dr. Reed, you have to help my mom. She has some health challenges, and we need some help. So without further ado, we're going to introduce this phenomenal person, Miss Pat Ray. Pat, are you on this side of the call?
Hi, yes. Can you hear me?
I can. Thank you so much for agreeing to get on this call. So, number one, thank you so much for even just breathing life into such a phenomenal young woman and your daughter, Jaleesa. She is such a joy, and she's a joy because that's what you taught her. So an apple doesn't fall too far from a tree. So thank you. So can you tell us what made you initially come to visit me back in 2013? What was going on in your life for your health? Can you hear me? Hello?
I can hear
Can
you.
you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah, I can hear you now. Are you there?
Okay, yes. I initially came due to high blood pressure, and my A1C numbers were elevated, and just I had arthritis and seemed like almost every joint. That's what made me initially come to see you. Well, after my daughter kept pushing me that way, that's why I initially came.
Okay. And what did we do? What was our assessment that we did?
Well, to be honest with you, okay, I had the hair tissue analysis and the scan with my hand. I can't remember the name of it. the Zyto
Yep, the
scan.
Zyto
But
scan.
I was kind of hard-headed, and I did not follow what you initially told me to do.
Mhm.
So, yeah, go ahead, Dr. Reed.
So briefly, a hair tissue analysis determines mineral imbalances of the macronutrients. We know that we need 60 minerals, but the hair tissue analysis deals with the biggest 20, the macronutrients. And within that panel, I was able to see something very interesting. And what I saw was sodium-potassium ratios were too low. Anytime you have sodium-potassium ratios that are too low, that's going to lead you to a tendency toward cancer, stroke, heart attack, kidneys dysfunction, liver dysfunction, allergies, and gastrointestinal problems. And Pat, you had quite a few of those items. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And the protocol for the hair tissue analysis is a specific mineral profile to get the health back into order. So basically, it gives me a preview of what is going to come down the pike if we don't do anything nutritionally to fix it. And with those recommendations, Pat, what did you do?
Nothing.
You did nothing. And so Jaleesa kept saying, Mom, you need to get on your stuff. And I would call you, and what would I say?
Then I need to start taking the supplements.
Yeah, and you didn't. And most people don't follow a recommendation because they're not used to it. It's not part of their normal understanding of health. And so why did you not follow?
For the same reason, I am 58 years old. And coming up, we believed that natural medicine was not the way to go. We were always taught that, natural doctors don't know what they're talking about. So in my mind, that is what I was set on. And even though my daughter was gung-ho for this, it was hard for me to accept. So I just kept listening to my regular MD, which nothing changed.
Right. And so backtrack, we did a hair tissue analysis, which determined that your sodium-potassium ratios was too low, would put you on a path of the diagnosis that you eventually did get. And what was your official diagnosis?
October 21st, I was diagnosed with breast cancer. It's called osteocarcinoma.
Mm-hmm. And so,
go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
That is what my first. Well, I had spoke with Dr. Reed about cancer in general, just the discussion, and she had always said not to do if anything like this ever happened, don't do chemo and radiation, and that stuck with me. So when I got the diagnosis, that was the first thing I heard, and my daughter was like, Mom, you know what Dr. Reed said? And that, I think, was one of the hardest decisions I ever had to make. And hearing that I had cancer in my body and deciding, okay, I'm not going to do chemo and radiation. So we called Dr. Reed, and she put me on the program on the 26th of October. I started taking the Z-Radical, the Selenium, Cell Shield, and the 90 for Life nutrients. I changed my eating habits. Dr. Reed asked me to get off of gluten, off of sugar, and just change the things, eat just clean eating and drinking just water.
And
that was what I did.
Yeah, and so there was a paradigm shift for you at some point. You went from not believing in natural medicine and nutrition, getting a glimpse of what was possible, and then actually having to really slide into what was going to happen, which could have prevented it. And not to beat you over the head, but I just want to bring that point across because natural medicine is a prevention. If you do what you need to do, then there's no need to deal with these, seriously chronic and scary diseases. But you went through that whole continuum, which is probably a huge testimony for anybody on this call because a lot of people don't believe until they slide into the mud and then they have to do something. And because it was resonating in your head, those words, don't get chemo, don't get radiation, then you had to say to yourself, I need to do something. What is it going to be?
Right.
And at what was that the point that you decided that natural medicine was your way to go?
Exactly. The very same day the doctor called me and gave me the diagnosis, I said to myself, I hadn't told anybody that I wasn't going to do chemo and radiation. There had to be a better way. I had just watched my brother-in-law the month before die. He went through the radiation. He went through the chemo, and he still died. I said, God, it's got to be a better way. You've got to be showing me a better way. So that is when I made the decision, and I hadn't said anything to anybody. When I got off the phone, I told my husband. And the minute I told him, he said to me, you're not doing chemo and radiation. So that was basically confirmation for me to hear him say that. And I said, okay, we're gonna go the natural route then.
That's really powerful, because natural medicine is a spirit, mind, and body experience. And a lot of times when people have such a serious diagnosis that puts them in a state of fear, they are led by fear and not by what their spirit says. And your husband confirming his support was critical for you, because you have a lot of people who want to do what you're doing, and they don't do it because they have family members who don't understand, and they push them in a direction that they don't want to go into. And it's a really sad state. But I really thank God for your conviction to listen to your own spirit and to make a decision and follow it, because you followed your gut, because you listened to the Holy Spirit, and your prayers were answered, because we prayed for you. Oh my gosh, I prayed for you. You did something phenomenal. You got on that program, and how long did it take? So let's get back to the fun part. So you sent a client to me that had colon cancer, and she got on the program that phone call. I didn't have to do a three-way. She just was like, whatever Pat took, I want to take. And why does she have such a phenomenal excitement about it? What made her so excited? What did you tell her?
Well, on February 23rd, now I started this program, like I said, October 26th. February 23rd, my general practitioner sent me for another mammogram. When I got my result, she got the results first, and she called me on the phone, and she said to me that there was no more cancer. There was no more calcification, that the cancer was gone. The technicians at the clinic had no understanding of what was going on. She said to me, I'm confused. I had a biopsy done, and they put a marker in. And she said, I see the marker, but I don't see anything else. She said, well, I won't say anything. I'll let the doctor tell you. So the doctor called my general practitioner. She called me to tell me that my pap smear was clear, and that the only recommendation they have is for me to have my mammograms done once a year. That's it. So there's nothing there. There's no more cancer there from October to February. And I had thinking that it was going to take a longer time, but it didn't. It didn't. Thank God.
Thank God. I'm wiping tears away because I know you, and I know the conversations that Jaleesa and I had about your well-being, about her well-being in the process of you being unwell. And this is such a huge testimony, because like Dr. Wallach says, every disease leading to death is a nutritional deficiency. And when Dr. Wallach goes through the room and he asks every single person, do they have a question, no matter what the question is about their particular health issue, his answer is always the same. Man gives the body dysfunctions a name, but God says, I will give you life and you can have it more abundantly. But my people perish for the lack of knowledge. So if we only really would just embrace the fact that our bodies were made in the image and the likeness of God, and we are awesome creations, if we give our bodies what it needs and take away what it doesn't, won't it not heal itself? But we get fearful and we let other people push us into places that we don't want to go. And my admonishment for anybody that's on this call is when we're working with people, connect with the person on a spiritual level. We are spirits that live in a body, and the body is responding to a dysfunction, either emotionally or mentally, both, and lifestyle. And if we can really get that message in, then we can see change in our community, in our families, in our loved ones. I remember going through the experience with your was it your brother-in-law? Was it your brother-in-law?
Yes. Yes.
Because your family called me on that case as well, and we did an overall conference call with like 5 people on the phone, and we went over the protocol of and it was probably beyond the part of repair, and so he did get his products and he did not survive. But to God be the glory for his life too, because his life was what prompted you to see another way beyond your own, and forgive me for this, beyond your own understanding of what was possible. Right?
Yes, but he didn't get a chance to take the product, so that's why.
Oh, wow. Yeah, they came
so
and he couldn't use them.
Yeah. Yes, he was so sick
yeah.
he couldn't. He stayed in the hospital.
Now, God can do anything, but Dr. Wallach says it's easier to prevent it than it is to try to put the fire out. So if anybody's on this call and you want to know about what your potential is, I'd be more than happy to do a hair tissue analysis for you, because that lets us see a lot of things. But absolutely, you should unequivocally be taking your 90 essential nutrients. So let me just say this. The 90 for Life in the Longevity Program does not cure anything. I can't say that. But what I can say, and what you've heard from this testimony, is that it has the ability to support and promote the body's innate ability to heal itself. Right? That's what you want. You want your body to be able to heal itself. And how do you do that? Dr. Watts will tell you, stay away from the bad foods. Bam! You're dead if you don't. And take your 90 for life. And it can be just that simple. Sometimes you just have to get out of our own way and just accept what is beyond your level of understanding. So, Pat, my question for you is, now that you have this new understanding of how awesome God is and how powerful your body can be, what are you going to do with this information?
Share it with everybody that I know.
Share it with everybody that you know.
Yeah, and that's the purpose, and I believe why God allows me to go through this is because I've already had 2 people come to me since then, since I got my diagnosis of being clear, trying to find out what I did, and I direct them right to Dr. Reed.
Well, I tell you what, I'm not doing anything but allowing God to use me as a messenger. And we are all messengers in the longevity revolution. Dr. Richard is the trailblazer of this team over here in the DMV and all over the place where he touches in New York and South Carolina. Sometimes I even hear people call him from Trinidad and Tobago. And I'm sure he's responsible for those people as well. But we are responsible to spread this message far and wide so we can have testimonies just like yours. And the 90 for Life program is your answer. It's the answer that you've been looking for to help your family, to help your community, and to help yourself. And isn't that why we were given breath in the first place? We have a purpose, and the purpose is to help each other be the best that we can be. So thank you so much for getting on this call, and I just want to recap. In October 21st, I will not forget that date because that was my daughter's birthday. I got this call from your daughter, and she's crying, and I pull over in my car and I say, honey, what's the matter? And she says, my mom has breast cancer. And I took a deep breath and I said, okay, all right, we're going to work through this. Let's pray and we're going to get through this. And this is the testimony at the end of that. So from October 21st to February, was it 23rd?
Yes, ma'am.
That February 23rd, we have followed a program that Dr. Wallach has said over and over and over works to promote and support the body's ability to heal itself. And we followed that program, even with the diagnosis that most people think that is irreversible because that's what they've been told. But we know that God is a God of salvation. He can do anything if we just believe. So the other part of your success, I truly believe, is that you had a support system within your family that supported your decision, and your decision was unwavering. Most people might not have that, but guess what? If anybody gets on this call hearing this message and they do have this diagnosis, you will have that support system with this Longevity family. So you might not have it with your family, but we will lock arm in arm with you for you to be able to get the same level of success as possible, because we're going to support your idea that natural medicine can be your vehicle for reversal of any disease, no matter what you call it. So, Pat, thank you so much for getting on the call. Is there anything else you want to share with us? Because I know everybody is waiting with bated breath with, oh, my God, this is so awesome, I want to share it. So before you say anything, rest and be assured that this call and the call from yesterday, the call from Monday, is going to be recorded and put on the YouTube. If you subscribe, you're going to get these videos automatically, so you don't even have to ask for them. They're going to come directly to you if you subscribe. Pat, do you have any last words of wisdom for us? Because we love you, and you are our sense of saving grace for so many people that we need to help. So give us something that we can chew on for the rest of the day.
I just want to, when I first got the diagnosis, the people that I told very few people in the beginning, but I had to make sure that I kept the negativity away from me. And I would let people know, if you're not going to stand with me, this is the program I'm on, this is the direction I'm taking. I'm not doing chemo and radiation, which was even hard for a lot of my family and friends. Even my medical doctor, I told her I'm not doing this. She said, well, it sounds like you've made up your mind. Yes, I have. I'm going all natural. I'm going with Dr. Reed, and this is what I'm standing on. And when you make that decision, you have to stand firm on that. You can't waver. You can't doubt. Just have to believe. Was I scared? Yes, I was, because I was making a decision that I wasn't used to making. And I sat on the side of my bed and I said to God, I'm scared. But he gave me such a peace in my spirit that let me stand firm, no matter what my flesh said, to stand firm and continue on this program. And I thank God I did, because now I can stand here and say that I'm cancer free. I don't have to go to the hospital and ring the bells. I don't have to do any of that, because I'm cancer-free, staying on this all-natural program. It works.
Awesome. Would you mind if I make one public recommendation?
Yes, go ahead.
Please do not get a mammogram every year. A mammogram, according to Dr. Wallach and several other research studies, has proven to add 500 times more radiation to the body than a chest x-ray. And so if we want to stay away from the lifestyle changes that creates that thing that we don't want, we don't allow that either. So we have to be kind of vigilant about how we use assessments. That's why hair tissue analysis is so awesome, because we're just taking hair and the lab looks at your hair and says it shows us for some phenomenal things. So we saw things that were going on in your body with just your hair sample, remember? And
yes, and I didn't even want to give you that, remember?
Yeah, you didn't want to give me, oh, don't cut my hair. I'm like, honey, we need to. But the information was so spot on. The issue is we didn't follow it when we needed to. And so that's fine, right, because God had a better plan. This was his plan, right? This was his plan. So anybody on the call, don't get a mammogram. If you suspected you have a lump in your breast, request a sonogram. Now, your doctor's going to buck with that, but you can say to him, I don't want radiation in my body. Give me a sonogram. And that's it. That's important. A sonogram is non-invasive, and it sees so many other things without causing any additional harm to the body. And so anything else you want to tell us, Pat? I'm just so grateful for this call. I don't really want to let you get off the phone, but the call is actually over, and I wanted to give everybody a chance to say hi and shout out and God bless you and keep up the good work. And you are already a longevity soldier, so we just have to, just keep sharing the message. Share the message. So, Dr. Richardson, I'm going to give the call back to you.
Okay, I am here. Wow, what a fantastic call. Dr. Reed, thank you so kindly. Pat, thank you so kindly for